started with a whisper, a soft, almost imperceptible sound that crept into my ear like a spider weaving its web. I was alone in my apartment, or so I thought. The air felt heavy, like it was pressing down on me, and the shadows in the corners of the room seemed to stretch and twist. I told myself it was just my imagination, but then I heard it again.
Who's there?
My voice echoed in the empty room, but there was no answer, just silence. I tried to shake it off, to convince myself it was nothing, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. Something was here with me. The next day, I went about my routine like nothing had happened. I went to work, came home, and tried to forget about the whisper. But as I sat on my couch that night, the feeling returned. The air grew cold, and the shadows seemed to move on their own. I could feel it, something watching me.
Stop it. Just stop it. There's nothing there.
But there was, and it wasn't just watching anymore. It was closer. I could feel its presence, like a weight on my chest. I turned on every light in the apartment, but the darkness seemed to seep through the cracks, pooling around my feet. That's when I saw it. Out of the corner of my eye, a figure, tall, impossibly tall, with a face that wasn't a face, just a void, a black hole where features should have been. My breath caught in my throat, and I froze. It didn't move. It just stood there, staring at me with that empty, endless gaze.
What do you want?
It didn't answer. It didn't need to. I already knew. It wanted me, and it wasn't going to stop until it had me. I tried to run, to scream, but my body wouldn't obey. I was trapped, paralyzed by fear. The figure stepped closer, and I could feel the cold radiating off it, like the chill of a grave. It reached out a hand, long and skeletal, and touched my chest. And then, everything went black. When I woke up, I was in a place I didn't recognize. A forest, dark and endless, with trees that seemed to stretch into infinity. The air was thick with the smell of decay, and the ground beneath my feet was soft, like it was made of ash. I didn't know how I got there, but I knew one thing: I wasn't alone.
Hello? Is anyone there?
My voice echoed through the trees, but there was no answer, just the sound of my own breathing, ragged and uneven. I started walking, though I didn't know where I was going. The forest seemed to go on forever, and the deeper I went, the more I felt like I was being watched. And then I saw it again, the figure. It was standing between the trees, its void-like face turned toward me. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. It stepped closer, and I could feel the cold again, seeping into my bones.
What do you want from me?
This time, it spoke. Its voice was like the sound of wind through a graveyard, hollow and distant.
You already know.
I shook my head, trying to deny it, but deep down, I knew. It was death. And it had come for me. I don't know how long I stood there, staring into that empty face. Time didn't seem to exist in that place. But eventually, I found my voice again.
Why me? Why now?
Because it's your time.
The words hit me like a punch to the gut. My time. I wasn't ready. I couldn't be. There was so much I hadn't done. So much I still wanted to do. But as I looked into that void, I felt something I hadn't expected. Peace. It was strange, but in that moment everything felt so easy. The fear, the panic, it all just melted away. I didn't fight it. I didn't try to run. I just stood there, waiting.
What happens now?
Now you come with me.
I nodded, and the figure reached out its hand again. This time, I took it. The cold was overwhelming, but it didn't hurt. It was like sinking into a deep, endless sleep, and as the darkness closed in around me, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Calm. When I opened my eyes, I was back in my apartment. The lights were on, and the shadows were gone. For a moment, I thought it had all been a dream, but then I saw it. On the floor, in the center of the room, was a single black feather. I picked it up, and as I did, I felt a chill run down my spine. I knew then that it wasn't over. Death had come for me, and it would come again, but for now I was still here. And I wasn't afraid anymore. Because when you come face to face with death itself, everything feels so easy. I kept the feather as a reminder that life is fragile, and that death is always waiting, but also a reminder that when the time comes, I'll be ready, because I've already seen what's on the other side. And it's not something to fear, but sometimes late at night, when the shadows grow long and the air grows cold, I can still feel it, watching, waiting, and I know that one day it will come for me again, and when it does, I'll be ready. Because when you come face to face with death itself, everything feels so easy. But until then, I'll keep living, because that's all any of us can do, live until it's our time. And when that time comes, we'll face it with open arms, because in the end, death is just another part of life. And when you come face to face with it, everything feels so easy.